The next bill we will hear will be Bill number 5959 by Rep. Maldonado. Chairwoman Maldonado. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, members of Finance Committee. Just bear with me. I will do my best to get through this hearing. A little bit on the not so feeling good side, but we'll get through. So thank you again, committee. I'll be brief. I introduced House Bill 5959 because the Central Falls Detention Facility Corporation, otherwise known as the Wyatt, has reversed course on its original mission to be an economic engine and source of revenue for its host city of Central Falls. Contrary to conventional wisdom, the Wyatt has only made payments to the city of Central Falls twice in the last 10 years. I repeat that. The Wyatt has only made payments twice in the last 10 years. I got this legislative idea from a 2011 bill that Senator Crowley introduced to do the same thing, which was to force the Wyatt to pay taxes since they were not contributing to their host city. Here, in 2011, bill was actually converted into a study commission, the General Assembly Special Joint Legislative Commission on the Wyatt Detention Facility. This Joint Legislative Commission published an April 25, 2012 report that stated that from 1994 through 2008, the city received a total of $5.3 million in impact fees from the Wyatt facility. In addition, the city received payment of $134,358 in 2009. Since that time, the city has not received a payment, which is a contributing factor to the physical challenges facing the city. This means that the Wyatt was averaging about $350,000 per year in payments to the city between 1994 and 2008. If the Wyatt were taxed, it would only be required to pay between $200,000 and $300,000 per year in taxes. So this legislation is reasonable and in line with the history of the facility. I'd like to formally put into the record my request for a sub-A on this legislation. There are 3 changes. On page 2, remove section B. This was a drafting error, and we do not support this process that would result in the dissolving of the corporation. Number 2, add a subsection 4 that makes it clear that taxing the Wyatt has nothing to do with the outstanding bonds and their payments. And lastly, changing the effective date to July 1st, 2018, so that the city can collect taxes starting in the fiscal year of 2019. Overall, members of committee, this is a particular heavy issue in the city. We have currently ongoing negotiations on both sides of the party. We are optimistic that we can come out with a promising solution, but I do encourage this committee to take a look at the additional sub-amendment that may have been presented to you with a copy or will be provided to you shortly. And again, I thank you for your time, committee.
Thank you very much, Rep. Are there any questions of Rep. Maldonado on that particular issue? Rep.
Yes.
McLaughlin, please.
Yes, Representative Maldonado. Are you aware of there was a contractual agreement in reference to basically the way it was set up? I believe the corporation was set up. They would pay $50,000 a month. Yes, they are. They owe the city of Central Falls money. Were you aware of that contractual agreement that was put in place?
Not too familiar with the $50,000 payment, but to answer your first question, yes, we are aware there was an agreement.
There was an agreement, and that agreement has not been fulfilled.
That is correct, Representative.
Since 2017.
I'm not aware on that date. I don't have that in place.
My second question would be in reference to the Wyatt. Will the state of Rhode Island in any way, shape, or form be subject to the same lawsuits that Central Falls is currently? I believe the board of directors in New York currently, are they suing the city of Central Falls for $130 million?
At this point, the negotiations are ongoing. It was released in reports that there was a lawsuit filed, but at this point, it's a 90-day stay still. So at this point, there are ongoing negotiations, and at the end, we do hope that we don't expect the city to be able to have to pay that $130 million. But like I mentioned earlier, Representative, is an ongoing conversation. And to answer your first part, you mentioned the state of Rhode Island would not be in jeopardy in any shape or form as we move forward on this particular policy.
By passing this bill.
At this point, I've not been told so.
Has it been checked out in Ledge Council? Would there be any liabilities?
We have ongoing negotiations both with the governor's office as well as the representatives in the room with this particular policy. They've been briefed, they've seen the language, and we continue, Representative, to have this conversation and allow this committee to vet out the bill.
And whereabouts in the process in reference to the pending lawsuit? Can you enlighten this panel on where they are at this current time?
What do you mean by that, Representative?
Is a settlement agreement going to be reached?
We're optimistic that we will, but again, it's still ongoing, Representative, and more than happy to keep the committee up to speed as I continue to get briefed throughout this process.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you, Representative.
Thank you. Yes, Leader Felipe, please.
I'll be brief, I promise. And,
Okay.
on the bill.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Representative Maldonado. So currently, there's a contractual obligation on behalf of Wyatt to pay certain monies to the city of Central Falls.
Yes, at one point when the legislation was enabling for the city of Central Falls to create this entity, yes, there was an agreement that they would consider to pay the city once they had made payments to maintaining the facility, paying its bondholders and such, that the city would then receive its payments.
And those payments aren't available because Wyatt hasn't been able to fulfill its other obligations, leaving enough left over for the city.
Representative, that's exactly how it was briefed to me earlier. Come to learn over the past several weeks that is not the case. They have had the funding to provide its portion to the city. It just has not.
Really?
From how I was briefed, Representative, correctly, yes.
So by basically making it a taxed authority, any outstanding taxes would take priority over bonds.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman.
Great lively conversation on that one. Any other questions of the witness on that? Yes.
Representative Maldonado, and I know, Central Falls, I would be, in favor of basically getting money for Central Falls because it's owed to Central Falls. But would you agree? Basically, all monies, the way the process is set up, the way the system is set up, basically the funding goes to the prison first, okay, and then basically the bondholders, and anything that's left over, okay, goes to the city of Central Falls. And that's what I was telling you about the $50,000. I was actually there, okay, when all this came to be. My question is, in a federal prison, everything's based upon bed space, okay? There's approximately, I believe, 700 beds, okay? And anytime that number drops with people, the occupancy drops, okay? I think it's a minimum of 500. Maybe you could answer that. If it drops to 500 and 580, the institution can no longer, fund the bondholders or the, Central Falls. And that's been an ongoing problem.
Rep. McLaughlin, I understand where you're going. I really do. But either she's equipped to answer the question or she's not. And if she's not answering the question, if she can't answer it, then, do it in the sidebar because this is not a question.
Okay, basically, it pertains to their ability to pay. When I say their ability to pay,
I understand, but this is not a debate. Either you have a question to ask her about this particular bill that she can, or we have to move on. I do appreciate what the information you're trying to get, but this is not a debate back and forth between the witness and our.
I'm not trying to make it into a debate, Chairman. I'm just trying to establish fact number one: do they have the ability to pay right now?
Yes, Representative, they do. In the past, the payments that we've received in the past out of the 10 years, the only reason they paid was because we brought them to a lawsuit. We went to the courts. And through that process, they produced the funds to provide to the city. As I mentioned earlier in my testimony, the Detention Corporation, the Wyatt, is capable of providing funds to the city of Central Falls. As in this process, there is the conversation of how much and moving forward, how to continue sustainably throughout these years moving forward for the city of Central Falls and the Wyatt.
Any other questions of the witness? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, members.
That was one person signed up in support, but they did not say whether they were testifying. Selena? Is it? There's no one out there named Selena, so I think she might have come and gone. Okay, if so, then that ends the hearing on Bill 5959.